A lot of conversation about programmatic, the good, bad, the ugly. Tell us sort of what's good, what's going on, also some of the sectors that are embracing programmatic and efficiencies in the marketplace that you're particularly proud of in terms of the work you do.
Sure, so I mean, the good, and I'm glad that you asked me to focus on the good, because I think this industry talks way too much to itself about the bad. And whilst I think we need to make sure that the hygiene is, and that there's cleanliness within the ecosystem that we're operating in, I think we all forget some of the original value propositions of programmatic. So the good that we're seeing is you know, we are leveraging the principles and the basics of programmatic that everybody has been doing for a number of years, and applying that to the entire digital suite of investment that an advertiser has. So this whole notion of where and it's a journey that we've had to take our clients on, but this whole notion that all of your digital should sit under the management of one singular lens, so that we could get all the digital media investment into the same infrastructure as well as the same measurement protocols, so that we could eliminate the duplication as well as the overlap in the audiences, and really focus on the real business outcomes that you could get by leveraging the notion of data and technology. And I think we've innovated how we partner with our publisher partners on their data assets, and it's really delivered fantastic results. The really cool thing too that we're doing when you have all that under sort of one umbrella or house is we're now starting to move much more upstream and influencing the strategy, not just on the media strategy, but also the creative strategy. So a lot of the work that Mediabrand is doing in terms of the underpinning of data and technology infrastructure means that we are going to be speaking from the same, let's call it OS, with our sister creative agencies, which means that we're moving upstream and influencing the creative storytelling on the basis of data. Now, we know the creatives don't love data when they come up with their brilliant ideas, but we're helping move that, and what it means is the results are 10 to 50 times better than they were without that piece of the pie.
And just getting into that a little bit on the creative side, so this helps them understand their audience, or does it help them target creative bespoke optimization? Is that part of it all?
Absolutely. Or? So there's the core, and it is, I wouldn't call it the unicorn, but it's still rare, where you get the audience with a creative where you say, you know what, we're going to help you understand your core audience targets, and quite often it's different than their assumptions, right? So even if at a fundamental level where you say, a gentleman who's looking for solutions for male pattern baldness is not actually in his late 30s. He's actually doing it preventatively as a prophylactic in his late 20s and early 30s. What that means is your messaging strategy changes, even just at its core. It doesn't mean that it has to be further customized to say, okay, some of these men may have sports affinity, some of them may have technology affinity. It's just core DNA of who the true consumer audience target is, which is driven by the insight that we have. The second iteration of that, Andy, is when we're talking to advertisers, we're saying there is an opportunity, because we know more than demography and because we know behavioral patterns. What we could then do is segment out so that you could create different types of creative that's just based on large audience clusters. And then the next iteration where we have a lot of success is where you carry that all the way through, and that's creating the messaging and the remessaging targeting creative on the basis of the signals that you're getting through the consumer journey. So it's sort of three-pronged. There's the overarching, the specific, and then the really dynamic, both structure and then execution.
And Erica, just ending up on some of the pain points, some of the issues that you would like to solve. I don't know, in terms of getting data from publishers, other sources of data. Client data, of course, is somewhat available. It's not always. Yeah. What are some of the solutions you hope to sort of see happen this year? So
one of the core things that we're focusing on this year, and I'm giving you a little sneak preview and under the hood, Andy, but I think when we think, and I've said this since I've gotten it started in this industry, is that everybody is trading on this third-party automotive intender, which is on the It's on the third-party data providers to delineate, okay, is that an auto intender or not? And in a very flooded, competitive market, what you actually find is there's very few consumers who are looking for a new car at any given time, and all of us are saturating the hell out of them, so we have to think smarter. So the first thing that we've spent a lot of time on, which I've already alluded to a little bit, is let's talk to the publisher partners who actually do have perhaps better signals, or we could coach and advise and work with them on how to look at those signals in a more meaningful way to say, is this truly someone who's in the market, or is it somebody like myself, because I live in New York and don't have a car, I'm just kicking tires. And then where we see a huge opportunity in white space in the ecosystem right now is helping our clients, firstly, to leverage their data assets, whether it's on a CRM basis or on loyalty program basis, to be leveraging that data better for themselves. There is a huge hesitancy on their part. Oh, I don't want anybody to touch my data. I'm worried about PII. I'm worried about, my competitors getting the hands on it. I want my agency to, be doing nefarious things with them. Is coaching and advising on helping them, not just for their own use, but how to partner them with other like-minded advertisers who may not be competitive but have similar audience targets. That's where we're going this year.